At exactly 1:05 a.m., I got an email from my CEO. It said, "You're fired." No warning, no reason, just like that. I had spent 18 years building his empire, managing 3 plants worth over $50 million. That night, as I packed my bags in silence, I made myself one promise. He'd remember my name forever. My name's Ethan Cole, and for the past 18 years, I managed 3 production plants for a major manufacturing corporation in Chicago. I started when I was just 23, a shift supervisor with a second-hand car and a dream. Over time, I worked my way up. I trained hundreds of employees, saved the company millions by redesigning workflow systems, and kept production running even during the pandemic. I wasn't flashy, I wasn't loud, I was just dependable. Then, one night, after years of loyalty and sleepless nights, my entire world collapsed with one email. It was 1:05 a.m. I was in the control room of our Detroit plant, managing a late-night maintenance issue, when my phone buzzed. It was from Andrew King, the CEO. Subject line, "Effective immediately." I opened it. Just 5 words burned into my screen. "You're terminated. Pack your things." That was it. No explanation, no call, no human decency. I stared at the screen in disbelief. My coffee went cold. I'd just finished handling a supply crisis for them 2 hours earlier, saving them thousands. And this was my reward. I called HR. No one answered. I called my regional manager. He texted back a single line. "Sorry, Ethan, it came from the top." The next morning, I drove to the headquarters to return my ID badge. Security didn't even let me through the glass doors. As I stood outside watching people walk past me, some avoiding eye contact, others pretending not to recognize me, I saw Andrew walk out of the elevator. Young, slick suit, the kind of man who spoke in PowerPoints and thought loyalty was a weakness. He smirked when he saw me. "Ethan," he said, "it's nothing personal. You weren't keeping up. If you're not comfortable with that, there's the door." I remember the rage boiling inside me, but I just said one word. Understood. Then I turned around and walked out. But what Andrew didn't know, what he couldn't know, was that I wasn't just walking away. I was walking toward his downfall. Over the years, I'd been the one keeping things running, literally. Every supply contract, every maintenance schedule, every software license, I managed them all. And I knew things about the company no one else did. While cleaning out my laptop, I found an archived folder, backups of internal emails, contracts, and purchase orders Andrew had modified. Except they weren't just modifications, they were cover-ups. He'd been funneling supplier money through shell vendors he created offshore, using company funds to pay himself quietly through fake transactions. It wasn't small either. It was $7.8 million worth of fraud. He thought no one would ever find it. He was wrong. I spent the next 2 weeks in silence. No social media, no calls, just planning. Using my access to supplier archives, which Andrew never revoked, rookie mistake, I compiled a detailed report of every suspicious transfer. Then I sent 3 emails, one to the board of directors, one to the IRS Financial Crimes Division, and one anonymous copy to a finance journalist at the Wall Street Ledger. By the time the sun rose the next morning, the story had gone live. CEO under investigation for corporate embezzlement. Former employees' records reveal $7.8 million fraud. Andrew's smiling face was now on every screen in the office, not as a leader, but as a criminal. Within 48 hours, the board froze his accounts, suspended him indefinitely, and launched a full audit. 2 weeks later, I got a call from the board's interim chair. They wanted me to consult, temporarily, to help stabilize operations during the chaos. I agreed. When I walked back into that building, Every eye followed me. People whispered. HR avoided my gaze. And the best part? Andrew's office door was sealed with police tape. I spent the next 6 months helping rebuild the company's structure, honestly this time. When the audit concluded, Andrew was charged with fraud, forgery, and tax evasion. He lost everything: his house, his reputation, his career. 1 year later, I stood on the balcony where he once fired me. Now, I was the head of operations under a new CEO who respected integrity. I looked over the city, remembering his words, "If you're not comfortable, there's the door." I smiled and whispered to myself, "I'm very comfortable now." Sometimes, revenge doesn't need noise. It just needs patience and the truth. If someone ever underestimates your silence, let them. Because silence isn't weakness. It's the sound of planning. He fired me at 1:05 a.m., but by 1:05 p.m. a year later, I owned everything he built.